You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kiersten.
Yeah, you most certainly are. You most certainly are. It's the big show, y'all. Caps on Tap. The daughter of Truth on Tap. And we hope that karma is a bitch, do we not? Yeah, we sure do. It's the big show. Coming up here is my friend who stayed in a haunted hotel. Yeah. She said it was scary. But what's scary is when you get hit by Alexander Ovechkin. That's what real fear is. You're listening to the big show. It's Caps on Tap. This is going to be Mr. Kevin Kiersten bringing you results from the Philly game and the Blackhawks game. Now, let me give you a little background before we get started so you're coming in correct with me. I saw the full Philly game. I've been fighting a sickness here lately that's been going around and evolved into bronchitis for me. And I missed tonight's game with the Blackhawks, so I went and I watched all the highlights so that I can at least talk some about tonight's game. As you know, in tonight's game versus the Blackhawks, Ovi was gone. He was taking part in Olympic ceremonies because, well, he's greatness defined. He's got to be there for things like that. And then Nikki was also not in the game. I do not know the story with Nikki because with the way things went around here, I ended up sleeping today and then missed the game and whatever. But what we're going to do is, I know you're probably still steaming over that overtime loss with the Blackhawks, but I need to take you back to the Flyers game because we got some things to talk about there. We got some things to talk about that you're not going to see on the NHL Network, that you're not going to catch on ESPN, that you're not going to read in the Washington Post, okay? There's some stuff going on. Now, I was very impressed overall. I've been impressed the whole preseason with my Washington Capitals. I really have. Now, I'm biased. I love them. Been watching them since they were born in 1974, since I was 2 years old. Couldn't even pronounce Washington Capitals. Never made it to a live game with the Washington Capitals till, 2008 maybe. Made my first game. I was it was actually a playoff game. It was a playoff game, game 5, when we were in I believe the second round, or was it the first round versus the Penguins? I think it was the first round. Game 5, we lost, but I was there, during a playoff game against our arch enemy. I felt the electricity. I was hooked. But it's an expensive habit. It is. And I had to keep my Caps games down to a minimum. Probably went to a total of about 30 games if you include preseason games. But been going to hockey games all my life. The Hampton Aces here in Virginia, the Alaska Gold Kings up in Fairbanks. Used to go to all of those games. Norfolk Admirals. If there was a hockey game in town, I was going to it. Always been a hockey fan. And have always been a dedicated Capitals fan through good and bad. As far as the Washington Redskins go, I consider myself a fair weather fan. I used to be a hardcore fan until about the year 2000. Then they broke my heart too many times. My daughter was born. I didn't have time for enough hobbies. I maintained my fanship with the Washington Capitals. But I had to let go of the Redskins. So started watching them again around 2008, 2009. And if they're playing well, I'll watch. If they're not, I won't. They can't break my heart. I mean, they can get to the Super Bowl and lose by 1 point and not hurt me. Because I'm not giving them my faith anymore like I do the Capitals. See, I believe with the Capitals. There's a spirit. And you know where that spirit comes from? It's not the players. It's not the coach. It's not even Ted Leonsis. And he's an amazing man. It's the fans. It's the fans. Fans can push a team into and through a Stanley Cup. Washington is one of about 8 or 10 teams in the NHL that still doesn't have a cup. Now, Washington, relatively speaking, is a young team. A few teams were born after them, but a lot of teams were born before them. So, they're 40 years old. You've got teams in the NHL that are 100 years old. So it's not like, they've had a million chances to win a cup. But they're due. They're due for one now. Time to get us a Stanley Cup. You hearing me, Capitals? Yeah, your fans want one. You got one fan here who's going gray, who started watching you when I still had a binky. He's ready for a cup, most certainly. Let's get on with it. Just a reminder, here of what you're listening to.
You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kirsten.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. The alarm is necessary because I bring that kind of damage. Did you recognize the voice, my friends? Anybody recognize that voice at all? Nobody? Here, I'll play it one more time for you. Get ready.
You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kirsten.
Yeah. That's Wes Johnson. That's the Capitals Arena announcer, the greatest voice to ever come over speakers. Wes Johnson, hell, I always try to come up with new stuff. I hate doing repetition, so I'll think of something new. I've already called him, Merlin, some kind of sorcerer up in the speakers. I've already called him Nikola Tesla because he just electrocutes people through the speakers. I don't know what to call him next. I guess maybe... He's like Freddy Krueger, except he doesn't get in your dreams, he gets in your game. And he kills dullness. That's what he murders. He murders dullness. So all that's left is the rage and excitement that makes a game great. Yeah, that's Wes Johnson. If you hear his voice come across the speakers, you can be at a Capitals game. You don't have to be a fan of the Caps. You don't have to be a hockey fan. And you're going to start moving. You can start moving. You're going, what's going on here? Am I having convulsions? Is it a grand mal seizure? No, that's Wes Johnson. That's what he does. If you watch some of the camera snapshots, you know how they'll picture the crowd for 5 or 7 seconds. You'll see people dancing that look terrified. That doesn't make sense, does it? It's because it's involuntary. They didn't want to dance, but Wes made them dance. You can't hear Wes Johnson and then not move. Something's going to move. You're going to do. You might look like Beavis or Butthead trying to dance. You might go full MC Hammer style, knocking people over. White people, let me ask you for a favor. Please don't dance like you're being shot at. That's ugly. That's ugly. And have rhythm. If you can't dance well, watch some YouTube videos. They will literally teach you how to dance, and you may need to watch them 100 times. If you look like you're being shot at, you're dancing horribly, horribly. Don't embarrass the rest of us white people any more than we already are as far as the dancing goes. Let's get on with some goddamn hockey here. By the way, I cuss during my shows. Whoop, thought you knew. 9/27 was the date. Today's 9/29, because we just passed midnight. We played the Flyers, didn't we? Now, have you listened to my old broadcast? Yeah. Let me tell you about how I'm right. When I predict things with the Caps, I'm generally right. I'm going to be right. It may be a stretch to say this, but I'm going to say 9 out of 10 times. Maybe it's closer to 4 out of 5 times, but I'm just good at it. I've just watched them too long, and I told y'all about Eric Fair. I told you in the first or second broadcast when Fair had done jack shit, and he hadn't done much over the past year before. He had basically a sag in his career. I said there are 4 players that are absolutely essential to this hockey club. Now, I'm going to let you guess, if you're listening, to who those players might be. Go ahead and try to figure out who I'm going to say. I know you're going to get 1 or 2. And now that I've given you a clue, you'll probably have 3. But I'll bet you don't get the 4th one right. So I'll give you a second to get your thoughts together there. Okay, so the 4 players, absolutely essential to this team, and I'll put them in order of importance. Nicklas Backstrom, the silent leader, the backbone of this team, comes to play every game, does not have the shot of Alex Ovechkin, does not have the speed of a Jason Chimera, may not even have as much finesse as a Mojo. But he comes to play every game. He has puck control and therefore has zone control. He knows how to slow it down and how to speed it up. You understand me? He's good at that, very good at that. And he is always present. He is the ever-present force in the Washington Capitals. Great puck handling, excellent passing, Nicky Backstrom. Just knows where to put the puck. Few passers I've ever seen are as good as him. Semin was a great passer. I hate to give him credit for anything because he was such a slacker. He has the best wrist shot in the league. Won't use it unless you kiss his ass or something. Glad he's off the team. I'll take a rookie that works any day over a star that is moody. Any day. So glad Simmons gone. And I know some of y'all are saying, how dare you? That's sacrilege. Well, you really want to gamble on that? Is he going to play well today, or is he going to try? You know, all I want is try. I don't care if he ends up playing well. All I want is to try. That's what he was missing. 1 out of 5 games, he would go on fire. The other 4, I don't fucking feel like skating. Fuck these people. I don't even like America. I'm a Russian. That's the sense I got from him. No, sir. Don't want you on my team. You can have the greatest wrist shot in the league. If you don't use it, you're shit. Might as well put my crippled ass out there with a stick. I got more of a chance of scoring than you do if you're not going to try. I get going, you know. So let me try to bring it back. The 4 most important players, there it is, Nick Backstrom. You know who the next one's going to be. Alex Ovechkin. If you haven't heard my old broadcast, you, my fellow Caps fans, are going to be a smarter bunch for listening to my show, because I like to throw in factoids. This is going to make you more impressive in speech. It's going to make you a higher class fan base than your other teams tend to be. For example, pronouncing Alexander Ovechkin, okay? Sounds right? That's what everybody says. But that's not how you pronounce it in Russia. I want you to know how to pronounce it in Russia. This is how they pronounce his name in Russia. Remember it. Alexander Ovechkin. I'm going to do it one more time for you. Alexander Ovechkin. Okay? Remember that. You ever talk to him, get a chance to yell at him, say it like that. You'll get a look from him and a thumbs up. That's how it's said. And for the record, why not? Since we were just talking about Simmons, his name goes like this. Alexander Siomen. Alexander Siomen. All right? There you go. Impress somebody. Little factoids like that, you know. We need to respect people that come from other countries to play hockey over here. You know, that we don't own them. We don't own them. And all things being equal, they'd rather be in their own country, but they're here for the money. And can you blame them? They're here because the NHL hosts only the greatest players in the world. So they've got their reasons, but trust me when I say they miss their homelands. And let's respect them a little. Let's respect their culture a little bit. Capitals fan base is one of the classiest I've ever known, and I would like you to help me keep it that way. Let's be known as the classiest fan base ever. I have not forgotten about that fucktard fan that poured the beer on John Tortorella's head about 5 years ago. And if you're listening right now, fuck you and fuck your beer, because that was classless. You don't do that. I don't care how mad you are that we're losing. We are a classy fan base. Don't get me wrong now. We turn into animals, and we can be animals, and I love it when we're animals. But that doesn't mean we do cheap shit. Don't do cheap shit, okay? There are some fans, especially when you see Flyers fans or Pittsburgh fans come into the phone booth and they win, they'll talk shit walking out. Now, my inclination is to whoop their ass, but a classy fan nods that off. They are not acting classy. And let me encourage you as a Capitals fan, if you go to Pittsburgh and we whoop their ass, which is usually the case, when you leave, don't rub it in. Don't, even if you're tough enough to beat everybody up and you feel like rubbing it in, don't rub it in. Be classy. Have a little class. Their team just lost. They're hurting a little, okay? Everybody's human. Going on with this game, because what I'll do is I'll go off on all these tangents, but they'll be interesting tangents to you if you're a Capitals fan. This, I can promise you, okay? I don't use scripts. I don't use notes. I do take notes for this show because I need to know, names and times and penalties and things of that nature. Might need to know an official's name. On my Truth on Tap show, I don't use any type of notes. Sometimes I'll pull up a couple web pages to use for reference, but that's it. Couple reasons for that. One, I feel like it adds an air of authenticity to the show when I just go. And two, when I hear someone reading from a script, or I can tell they're reading from a script, I just immediately lose respect for them. It's like, you're not doing anything. Anybody could read. I want to hear what you think, Well, you are. I wrote it down on paper. Well, it sounds fake now, just say it. What it does is it takes away from you the ability to change your mind very quickly. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what makes it more authentic. You don't have that ability like you do when you're writing to say, holy shit, let me erase that and write it this way. No, you're on the spot, and that tends to bring a truth air with it. And guess what? My show is Truth on Tap, and the daughter show, Caps on Tap, all revolves around just being honest, just being honest. That doesn't mean I'm telling you all the truths. I never promise that. But what I do tell you will be the truth. That I will promise. And if you call into this show, okay, or if you get in on the chat, I expect you to be telling the truth. Don't bullshit me. Don't bullshit my Caps fans. I protect them first on this show. Let's get back to the game here, and I just need to make sure I have my chat open in case people are listening right now and wanting to chat as well. I also want to remind you of the phone number to call. If you'd like to call in and be on the show, sometimes you have to call 2 or 3 times because it's funny, because I got you on Google Voice. And there's all kinds of convoluted this and that I had to set up to get your voice to come through my computer and out on the broadcast. Google Voice will often ignore the first couple calls. So please try a couple times. If you end up in voicemail, try a couple times. I'll get you. I'll get you on. The chat's right there, right now, ready to go. You got to go to the show to find out about it, and I'll give you that address as well. Let me go ahead and just go to it so I make sure I'm reading the right address to you. The show's address, and I'm going to give you the whole address here, is www.Spreaker, that's SPREAKER.com/user/truth-on-tap, just like it sounds, /caps_on_tap_Philly_and_Chicago. Boom. Type that in, hit enter, you're there. There's the chat. It's open. I'm going to go ahead and type in Kev is here so you'll know you're in the right place. And you can share your views with me. Tell me what you like about the Caps' performance these last 2 games. Tell me what you hate about them. Now, I'm getting into this Philly game first. And don't worry, we're going to talk later about the Blackhawks. Keep in mind OV and Nicky were not playing tonight. Just keep that in mind about the Blackhawks game, okay? Holtby, you did fine, buddy. Stop 9 out of 10. Give us a chance. That's all I'm asking. Holtby's good for that. He's good for that. He's a good goalie. We're going back to this Flyers game. Now, I told you, I didn't finish telling you about the 4 players. Let's get back to that. Now, so you know that the 2 top players that I believe are key to our club are Nicky Backstrom and Alexander Ovechkin. But who are the other 2? Well, one I'm going to say is Fair. And some of you are probably you're probably not shaking your head now. You would have if you would have heard my show about 4 episodes ago before he'd done anything. What the hell has Fair done? Why does he think he's so important? Well, now you see. I told you Fair was important. Why is Fair important? Let me tell you this. Let me go ahead and mention the 4th guy, Chimera. And I know half of you now are going, Chimera? Well, he's more important than Mojo? Chimera, he's more important than Mike Green? Indeed he is. Indeed he is, my friends. Now, we've got some new guys that are digging in. They're looking damn good when you talk about a Wilson, when you talk about a Grabowski. But I can't just throw them into, hey, they're important to the team, because they need to show me consistency, and that requires time. That's all. They're doing great. I'm on board. I love them. But you got to show me you can do it over time before I'm going to put you in an important spot on my ranking here. So there are the 4, Ovechkin, Backstrom, Chimera, and Fair. I told y'all about 4 episodes ago, Eric Fair. What is his style? Here's what he does. When Eric Fair shoots and scores, the goaltender and the defenseman, and oftentimes his offensive teammates, say, where the fuck did he come from? That's Eric Fair. I don't know if he travels through, like, time. He finds wormholes. But you'll see him here, and then he's not here anymore because he's over there. He's a sneaky bastard. Love you, Eric Fair. Love you for doing that. So I have a background in psychology, at least academic-wise. It's not like I'm an expert, but I try to put things together in daily life when I talk about these things using that academia. And I'm thinking what Eric Fair has going through his head is something like this. And this is a guess. So he skated down, you got a couple people. They're up against the battling for the puck. He skates over. It's hard to get a spot in front of the net. You'll get knocked out. Nobody wants you standing there on the other team because they don't want you screening their goalie, and they don't want you there to tap in a rebound. So they'll shove you out of the way. It's hard to stand there. A lot of people aren't tough enough to do it. So he'll be maybe 12 feet out in front of the net. And the guys are battling behind the net against the boards. It just takes time. You got time. And I can hear this go on in his mind. Let's say he's about to score in 7 seconds, and even he doesn't know this. Here would be his thoughts, the 7 seconds leading up to this. Shit, he's got me blocked out. I can't get in the goalie's face. I'm going to go left. Let me go 2 steps left, skate around, go back in the front, go back in, 3 strides back, skate slow back, bam! It's in. Everybody's like, where did he come from? That's Eric Fair. He's a goddamn magician. His accuracy is amazing. His ability to be squirmy and to hide and seek is amazing. We need him on our team, and we need him consistently. Adam Oates, do what you have to do to keep him psychologically stable. I don't want to see him sag like he did last year. Before that, he was doing great. He sagged. Keep his spirits up. Let him know he's got that kind of talent. He does. He's got it. He just needs to use it consistently. He's not an attitude player. He's not like Alexander Seoman. He comes to play. But something was in his head last year. Something was in his head. Some kind of, I don't know, maybe I should pass more. Maybe I'm lacking a little confidence. I don't know what got to him. This year, these last 3 games, he just lit that shit up. And I told y'all before he even did it that he was going to do it. If you don't believe me, go check out my old episodes of this show. Going back. Told you about Eric Fair. Told you that was going to happen. I believe he scored twice in that game. Yeah. Okay, now, OV scored in that game a power play goal. It looked very standard. He didn't look too excited about it. Maybe he was worried that he had to go overseas or something the next day. But he's going to score. You know how he is. Chimera, grinding like a dog, always. I mean, the man works so hard. He's going to pass out one of these days. Tom Wilson, he's young, he's resilient, and he's still bringing it. I warned you. I said, watch out for the youngsters because they'll come out swinging, looking real good. Then when they know they've got a spot on the team, they'll chill out because they're comfortable. They know they don't have to work so hard. Got to watch out for them. Okay, I'm not saying he will do that, but I'm saying most of them will do that. Most of them will necessarily lose some energy as the season begins to come on after they've anchored themselves in on one of the top 4 lines. But he's still bringing it. He's still bringing it now, and I think he's already got a spot, so that's a very good sign. Think about the fight he got as a fighter, and he's a good fighter. And he's only, 19 years old? All right, Shin... He was whooping Shen's ass in a fight. Shen tried to fall down. Remember that? Tom Wilson picked his ass back up to beat on him some more. Now, Shen is no pussy. Okay? Shen is number 1 in the NHL last year for hits. Number 1. And Tom Wilson handled him like a mad wife beating a dirty rug. Whooped his ass up one side, down the other, and then picked him up and did it again. Just for good measure. How about that, Tom Wilson, when it comes to fighting? I like him. Nuvi, I don't trust him. I've never had faith in Nuvi. Sorry. I don't know if you're a fan, but there's something wrong with his style that's just not allowing him to stop enough goals. He gets caught napping all the time. Not aware of where the puck is when it hits him and goes behind him. It doesn't have enough awareness. Maybe he'll change. For all I know, he could end up in the Hall of Fame. But right now, I got no faith in Nuvi. Got none. Tell me why I'm wrong. Am I wrong? Going back to the game, early in the second period, Philly had way too much zone time. Okay? I have a problem with this when I watch my Capitals play. I have a big problem when I see the opposing team in our zone like it's a power play. Freedom to pass it back and forth, back and forth. No. Somebody needs to be up in somebody's face without screwing up and skating past them, leaving them open. You don't let them pass. You don't let them get set up. You don't give them 10, 15 seconds. That's ridiculous. And that's what I saw way too much of. Even though we beat Philly, I wasn't happy with that. We got to watch out for that. They had way too much controlled zone time. Volpatti looked strong again in that game. He looked a little bit beat up later in the game, I thought. Just kind of tired. I hope it was physical. I know he was, I think, was he in a fight that game? That game or before? He's always fighting. He's a good fighter, too. He's a good scrapper. He looked a little tired. He might have had an injury. I get a vibe that he had an injury he was trying to hide. Now, maybe I'm wrong about that. Hopefully it was not psychological, because we don't need people quitting because it's the third period. We don't need that at all. So stay strong, Volpatti. You're looking good. And guess what Joe B said, our famous Joe Beninati, during that Philly game? He said, who's been the biggest surprise since training camp? Eric Fair. People, I was 4 games early on this. I told you Eric Fair was going to be the man. Everybody's thinking, he ain't done nothing. I don't believe that. I knew it. I've been watching him. I know his skill, and I saw him come back to life early this preseason. I knew it was coming. The man is awesome. He is a great hockey player. He is hugely underrated, and he's going to be in your face all season long as he stays healthy this season. I goddamn guarantee it. Joe B, you're 3 games late on it, buddy. You need to get predictive as I am. Yeah, that's right. You too, Locker. Love you guys. You're my favorite announcers in the world. Don't you love Joe B and Locker? Together, they have such a good balance, and this is probably something everybody says, probably sounds rather generic, but Joe B with the kind of witty, I don't know, he tends to sound very, is this a word, professorial? If not, I'm going to make it a word, because you're allowed to do that in America. And then Locker has the kind of a comedy going on, a dry, wry humor, knows his game, played, for the Capitals, played in the NHL, knows his game, up one side and down the other, has a bit of a quirkiness to him. He has this, sometimes I think he doesn't understand ordinary humor. And I hear him laugh, and I feel like he's forcing a laugh. So, a funny guy. I love them both. I really do. I think they're great at what they do. I would love to have lunch with them one day. For our club, I think they're perfect. They have the right amount of connection to the club, yet they stay professional. If you listen to some other announcers calling a game for their club, what do you hear? Other team scores, score. Their team scores, score! Always talking about bad things about the other team, good things about their team. Joe B and Locker don't do that. If a player has skill, and if a player has class especially, they will get compliments, genuine compliments from Joe B and Locker. They sure will. Doesn't matter what team they're on. They don't have to be a Capital. They're classy guys. And yet another example of the entire Capitals organization exhibiting class. Ted Leonsis is the epitome of class. I mean, the man, I've written him a few notes. He writes right back. I mean, I did an OV highlight video. You can find it on, I did a couple of them. You can find them on YouTube. And the first one was titled, possibly the best 4-minute Ovechkin highlight video ever. And it's got, 10 or 20,000 views. It's a good video. And I sent it to Ted, and he wrote back and said, it is sweet. He liked it. He didn't have to write me back. Who am I? Ted Leonsis? Well, I wrote him again later. I was working on copiers. I was trying to get a contract for my company for the Verizon Center. Thought it might work out. He wrote back and said, well, we don't really handle that. That's handled through a separate business. But, he went on. He didn't have to write me back at all. Then he did it again when I told him I had made a second video. Wanted him to know about it. Wrote me back again. Then, after Wes Johnson, the Capitals PA, the arena announcer for the Capitals, did my voiceover for me, I wrote Ted because I know what kind of guy Ted is. I know he's that good inside. I said, Ted, I just wanted to tell you there's another one like you working for your organization, just in case you didn't know. His name is Wes Johnson. He went out of his way to do a professional voiceover for me just based on a request. He didn't have to do that. He didn't have to do that. Who am I? I'm nobody. Okay? That's class, guys. That is class at its highest form. There's a saying, and it can't be truer than it is already, that says, the measure of a man is how he treats those who can do him no good. And it is true. That is the measure of a man. Ted Leon's, by responding to me, changed my life. I used to be a guy who, if I was going to work, on copiers or whatever, and had this bum come up and wanted to tell me about his story, hey, I got child support, I got to go to work, I don't know your story. Well, you know what I do now? For one thing, I'm not working, so I have more time because I'm crippled. But even before that, when I was still working, I would stop. I would make time for that guy because his story is just as important as anybody else's story. Okay? Fellow human. You respect him. You understand? That's what Ted taught me. Everybody's important. Ted was happy to hear what I had to say about Wes. I know Ted well enough to know that he appreciated that, and I also know him well enough to know that he would have said something to Wes. Like, hey, got a note about you, Wes, from this guy you did a voiceover for? Yeah, he says you're a classy guy. I know Ted did that. Ted appreciates that kind of class, honorable behavior. He didn't come up. He wasn't born with a silver spoon in his mouth. He came up through hard knocks. He knows the fight from the bottom to the top. He went through it. Respectable man. Now, as far as loving the Caps go, Ted, maybe you can correct me. I don't know if you'll ever hear this show. I get the feeling that your passion lies a little bit more with your basketball team than your hockey team, but I also believe that at the very least, you're a businessman. And as a businessman, you desperately want your Washington Capitals to perform well, and you're making all the moves you can, silently, behind the scenes, to make that happen. For that, we salute you. Now, if I'm wrong about your passion, and you're a crazy Caps fan, correct me. Other fans that happen to know that, correct me. I just think he's more into his basketball team than his hockey team. That's all I have to say about that. Ted's a great guy. He is a great businessman. He's a great human being. He has my respect, and it is hard to earn my respect on that level. Very hard. Very hard, especially when you're wealthy. Very hard to earn my respect on that level. Getting back to the game, so Volpatty, he was strong. He didn't come out with any curveballs. He was pretty predictable, I thought, in the Philly game. As you know, Ovi had to go to Greece just after the game, so he may have been, for the lighting of the torch, I guess. Keep in mind, Sidney Crosby was not on that plane. Just wanted to mention that little tidbit. Yeah, he didn't go to Greece. There was a cross-check on who was number 50. He's one of the new guys. Is it Byers? I'm gonna have to go look. I'm gonna go look it up. We'll talk while I do this. I gotta know because these new guys, I'm still learning their numbers and the whatnot and the who whats. So let's go over to the Capitals team. The Capitals. I'm looking here for number 50 because we need to talk about this. We don't really need the Jeopardy theme, I guess. I'm looking down, and now I'm not seeing it. Now I'm not seeing number 50. Has he been called down? Do they just not put his number in there? Why don't they have Grabowski's number in there? Why don't they have Lada's number in there? All right, well, if you know who number 50 is, let me know. He got cross-checked, okay? He got cross-checked hard. And sometimes when you get bumped in the back, you don't call that if you're an official. But sometimes you have to, okay? Halfway through the second, number 50 just about had his damn neck broken on a cross-check. Pisses me off when I see that. Grabowski, what an amazing player he's turning out to be. He's Belarusian. He had quite a public spat if you listen to the game with Toronto head coach. He's not afraid to take on authority. Okay? Now, if you saw that shot he made tonight against the Hawks, holy shit. Dude came hard and picked the top corner. Wow. Great shot. He's making a name for himself. You're starting to see his name pop up in the stats. You're starting to hear the announcer say his name more and more, which means he's active. That's a very good thing. He's a very well-rounded player. When motivated, I'm going to assume he stays motivated. Let's just hope so. Tom Wilson scored 12 minutes into the second. He doesn't just bring youth and energy and ass-whoopedness to the club. He'll put one in the net. Man, he ain't afraid. He'll do all that. What I want to talk about right now is, actually, it's so fun what I'm about to talk about that we need to take a break first. I'm going to go ahead and play a song for you. Let's see which one we're going to play today. I haven't played Bad Ace's Falling Faces in a while. I think I'd like to put that one on. And then I may throw on Reality Check. I like those two songs. If you'll just work with me here. And then when we come back, I'll go ahead and give you a clue. I'm going to talk about Grabowski and something he did. Okay? Something he did that was remarkable. It was so remarkable that it reminded me a bit of Alexander Sjoman. Yeah. All right. But for right now, let me remind you who you're listening to.
You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kirsten.
And then next, you're going to be listening to Bad Ace.
Up next to falling faces off the wall, and I creep these hallways and the tears I've cried for you. I'm falling, torn between the dark and light, and I'm calling for your kiss to calm the fight. Now I know it's a little too late for fantasies, but I've always dreamed you'd be the one for me. Now I see it's another lonely night for dreaming, yeah. I'll not be free, 'cause I never was a true believer. I want you to know I was better off dreaming anyway. I'm no longer waiting outside for you today. My, it's another lonely night for dreaming, yeah. So don't tell me you can find another friend to fill you down, child. No, just leave me. I was never anyone to care about. Now I'm crawling on another bedroom floor for sale. I'm stealing and feeling this blackened eyes will never see again. I want you this away. Ran across your picture, baby, just the other day. Imagine conversation, you knew just what to say. Held you in my arms and never let you go. And I realized I love you evermore. I didn't realize, no, I didn't realize, I didn't realize I felt so strong for you. I didn't know that I could feel this way, even on such a cloudy day. I didn't know a feeling of this kind feels so good inside. Feeling this way.
You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kierstead.
Yeah, we're back. And I want you to know that you just got done listening to Bad Ace. They are a local group. They play around the Northern Neck area of Virginia, and I'll go ahead and define that for you, basically. Well, let's just make it simpler. They play pretty much anywhere from Virginia Beach area all the way north toward Richmond and all that section in between. Okay, and you can find out more about them. Go to badace.com, just like it sounds, BADACE. You can find Bad Ace on Facebook as well. And they're an excellent group. They play all kinds of stuff. I've got a friend in the band who's the drummer that I've known forever, since back in high school. And by the way, if you're local, he happens to run a business in town called Western Shore Heating and Cooling. If you need any kind of atmospheric type work done with your home, your cooling unit or heating unit's about to go, get it done. Get it done. He also does air cleaners too. Nicest guy you'll meet. The prices are fair. The service is top notch. Best you'll ever find around here. And that's who you want to call, Western Shore Heating and Cooling out of Matthews, Virginia. Back to the Philly game. Now, I don't want to talk too much about the Philly game, but this game was quite the microcosmic view that will turn into a macrocosmic reality, if you will, and you must, because I did. What happened was Grabowski had the puck. It was a 2-on-2 break. Nothing major, because he was way over toward the glass. It wasn't like he was going for the net. You know, it wasn't some big scoring opportunity. He's skating fast, though. He's skating down. Got a guy right on him, okay? Wilson's coming. Now, he's going down the left. Wilson's coming up that right side, closer to the goalie, but to the right, of course. And he's trying to keep a fairly decent horizontal line with Grabowski, but slightly back. Maybe he was expecting something, maybe he wasn't. But what does Grabowski do? He passes the puck between the skates of the defender that was all over him, running him into the board, fast enough and precise enough such that it goes past that defender, past another defender, past the goalie, to Tom Wilson's stick and in. Okay, Semin couldn't even do that. And Semin was the master passer. No-look passes, we've been seeing them lately from the Capitals. I want to see more. No-look passes are very important. I guess there's too many white guys in the NHL because, you know, the black guys in the NBA, they're not afraid of no-look passes. I mean, back to before the Magic Johnson days. No-look passes really can confuse a defense. And as long as you know where you're passing to, who says you need to look at it? Especially if you're good enough to know not where a guy is, but where he's going to be. In fact, Wayne Gretzky said that's what a great hockey player does. He doesn't have to know where the puck is. He knows where it's going to be. All right? So if you know where your guy's going to be, look the other way. Pretend you're going to pass to somebody else and then pass to him. The whole defense will bite on it. Come on, guys. Let's get some more of the no-look passing. And you did it excellent about 3 games ago. Mojo gave a little pass back to the point. They hit OV, and OV knocked it in so hard the back of the net just about blew out. Typical. I mean, OV's already broken glass this preseason. He's just a monster. You know that. You don't win. He's got more MVP trophies than any other active player in the league. He's one of only 4 or 5 ever to win MVP 3 times. And guess what? He's not done. He's going to set the record. He's going to win MVP at least 6 times in his career. He's going for the record, and he's going to get it. He's that competitive, and he's that good. You know this. Now, when I hear people, we're going to go into some general hockey talk and then back to the Philly game. When I hear people try to say that Sidney Crosby is a better player than Ovechkin, first of all, I only hear that from Penguins fans. Secondly, it's bullshit. It's total bullshit. Okay? What do you do when you're going to evaluate a great hockey player? What kind of categories are we looking at? We're looking at skating. We want them to be able to skate pretty good. And that includes everything. That includes speed. That includes the ability to stay on your skates. Remember, Seoman always fell down like he was drunk. It includes the ability to maneuver, deke. You got to have all that with your skating. So there's one category, skating. Puck handling. Keeping the puck on your stick, keeping control of the puck, not giving it up, not, dropping it or anything like that. All right, so we got puck handling, skating, shooting. We want you to be pretty accurate and fairly good on a hard shot because you got to beat the goalie, right? So you have to have your timing, you have to have your aim. We want you to be a good shooter if we're going to find the best player in the NHL. So we're checking your shooting. We've got skating, puck handling, shooting. We want you to be a good passer too, so that means having your timing right on passing. And a big one that tends to get overlooked is hitting. Yeah, that's defense. When you hit a guy, he necessarily pauses before he wants to touch that puck again if you're threatening another hit. You understand me? These hits are at 3 times the speed you see on the NFL fields, okay? Hockey hits are the real deal. Hockey hits are no bullshit, okay? So when somebody gets hit hard on the ice, the next time they're going for the puck, if they see that same guy coming at them, they're going to think twice about touching that puck. Watch some videos if you don't realize that. You'll see. That's the idea. People, that's the idea. Get them scared to want to be near the puck. That's why you hit. You hit to punish, but you also hit to invoke fear in your opponents. And it works. How many hits would you say Sidney Crosby throws in a year? Got any guesses? In a full season, not an abbreviated season, in a full season. The last time I read the statistics, I believe he would throw a little less than 100 hits in a year. And in my opinion, many of those should not have been qualified with the term hits because they were bumps. Okay? Ovechkin, about 550. Yeah. And they were hits. When Ovechkin hits, brother trying to knock you out the ring, you understand? Over the glass and out. He ain't playing. He'll hurt himself to hurt you. That's commitment to the hit. Okay? So you're going to come and tell me now that the first thing you're going to say is, Ovechkin shoots too much. No. Wrong. Ovechkin does what his coach tells him to do. And his coach tells him, hey, OV, hey, you got a hell of a gun there. You know what I'm saying? I need you to use it pretty often. Ovechkin gives the salute and says, yes, sir, will do. That's why he shoots so often. He is told to because he's got the shooting skill. You use your skills often if they're really good. You understand? Don't call him a puck hog. You're just being a dumbass if you call him a puck hog. He's also an excellent setup man. He doesn't get enough credit for it. His passes are phenomenal. His timing is beautiful, unmatched by anyone else. I mean, The next, I'd say he's behind Backey on passing, but ahead of everybody else on the club at this time. And then you're going to tell me, well, you know, Crosby can skate better than OV. No, he can't. He's not faster. He dekes more. He goes left and right more. But that doesn't, you know, that deking, that doesn't make a player. That's a show. That's all that is. It's a show. What I want to know is, can you get the puck in the back of the net? Can you play defense too? Can you throw some hits? Are you getting intercepted all the time? What makes a great hockey player? When you put together all the numbers of Crosby and Ovechkin, you have no doubt in your mind why the NHL consistently chooses Ovechkin over Crosby as the best player. Consistently. And I hear dumbasses saying, well, Crosby's got a cup. Crosby doesn't have a cup. Crosby does not have a cup. The Penguins have a cup while Crosby was playing for them. You show me one man that's ever won a Stanley Cup. I'm waiting. Call me. 910, no line. I want to know what one man you've ever seen win a Stanley Cup. Go for it. I'll give you $10 million if you can tell me what single man single-handedly won a Stanley Cup. Go for it. Stanley Cup is a team effort, my friends. Without a great team, you will not get a Stanley Cup. So I don't give a damn if Sidney Crosby has a cup and Alex Ovechkin doesn't. Because if you are comparing two players, you can't compare that. That's comparing two teams, my friend. If you compare the players, MVP, that's all I got to say. MVP. Who keeps winning the MVP and who doesn't? There you go. That's all I got to say. Who keeps throwing hits and who doesn't? There you go. Who got voted the whiniest player in the NHL by the NHLPA? For those of you that don't know what that means, that's the National Hockey League Players Association. All the players in the league voted on the whiniest player. Who do you think they picked? I'll give you 3 guesses, but you only need one. Yep, skinned knee cries, boy. He won again. Whiniest player. Do you know that when OV scored his hat trick that one game, it was at the Verizon Center a couple years ago. Might have been last year, but I think it was 2 years ago. Excuse me, still getting over my cold. When he scored his hat trick, Crosby went up to the officials and asked them to make an announcement to the fans to stop throwing hats. Define bitch boy. Define immature. OV made him look like a clown. He scored 2 goals fast in that game, Crosby did, thinking he was going to get a hat trick. OV hadn't scored any. OV came back and scored the hat trick. Made him look stupid. What a beautiful game that was, you know. And I believe that game defines how it goes. Crosby does a couple of neat things, yay, yay, yay. OV brings home the bread and the butter. I mean, Crosby's out there hitting doubles. OV's hitting grand slams. That's the way it works, you know. Now, is Crosby surrounded by great players? Yes, he is. Malkin is an amazing hockey player. I love him. I don't necessarily like his attitude all the time, but, you know, you got to be able to separate those. Anyway, let's get back to the game. Crosby's a little piss boy. He's never going to be the man Ovechkin is. Let that thought go. Go ahead and be proud of his ability to dance around on his skates and put the puck in once in a while. Go ahead and be proud of that, because that's all you got. That's all you got with Crosby. Malkin's a better player than Crosby all day long. What else happened in this Philly game here? Grabowski, yeah, he did that crazy-ass pass. Adam Hall was a piss face about it and started a fight after that goal. But, you know, we kind of did the same thing later. We started a fight. After, I believe it was Alexei with Hartnell after his score. But he beat the hell out of Hartnell. So, of course, Alexei got extra time, because that's how the Capitals tend to get treated. Fair scoring again. Volpatty fights again. Wilson gets the high stick. Caps power play. Flyers shorthanded for 2 minutes. OV scored second power play goal. Easy shot, 7 seconds into the power play. He tends to do that. Emery sucks, by the way. I don't want to give my Capitals too much credit when they've got Swiss cheese in the net. I'm surprised Emery went back to Philly, to be honest with you. But anyway, I'm surprised they had him back, I should say. OV scored that second power play goal. Carrick gets the assist. We need to talk more about Carrick, but I don't have time. Let's see, what was happening there? I was taking some notes here, and sometimes they're very, very vague. I don't know. Kimmo Timonen is always trying to be a setup dude, but he failed in that game. Nobody was in a catching mood, I guess you could say. Perreault, a player that I said would be in the Hall of Fame one day if he didn't get hurt. He was looking awful small on the ice, man. When he takes a hit, he gets hit all the time. He just needs to gain some weight and some mass. He is an excellent hockey player. He's got the deeks. He's got everything. He just needs some more mass, man. Get some more mass. I don't want to see you get hurt, Perreault. You're an awesome hockey player, brother. The day I saw him debut was the same day I saw Semyon Varlamov debut, and I told my friend, we were watching, I believe it was a preseason game. We were at the phone booth. My friend David, I said, those two right there, future Hall of Famers. I said Semyon Varlamov I actually coined the nickname Bruce Lee between the pipes. Let me assure you, I've heard this on other videos now. I've heard this on other radio shows. I, Kevin Kierstead, came up with the term Bruce Lee between the pipes. I've heard it on the network hockey shows, on TV. They stole that shit from me. Do I deserve a cardboard cookie? I think I deserve 2. I think I deserve at least 2 cardboard cookies. He is, and he didn't have a great year last year with Colorado. But he's developing. He is Bruce Lee between the pipes. He's that damn good. He's fast, wicked fast, keeps his skate under. I hate a goalie that flops around like a fish out of water. Remember Jose Theodore? I'll follow my butt. Who else did that? Vokun? I'll follow my butt, spin around. I'll follow my face and spin around, try to fill up the net. Get the fuck up on your skates and watch where the puck is going. Get your pads down when you need to. Keep your skates under you. Be able to move. Varlamov is the epitome of movement, the correct movement in net. Now, he's got a groin problem that he nurses. I hope that eventually gets stronger and stronger and stops bothering him. And he's got to develop a little bit more. He's got his timing down. He's got his technique down. He needs to work a little bit on the stick side, high stuff. But he's looking good to me. And I think he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. I think he's that good. He needs his experience to catch up with his heart and skill. And then it's just over. He's in there. And playing the Flyers, by the way, it's really hard to say we won 5-3. I believe the score's 5-3. Doesn't matter. We won. They're only 1-6 in the preseason. And that was before this game. So 1-7 now. The only team they even beat was the Maple Leafs. So yeah, I could beat the Maple Leafs with a blindfold on. I need to learn more about Grabovski. I can't talk to you about him in an expert kind of mentality when I don't know enough about him. So I will tell you, in the nature of being truthful, that when I talk about Grabovski, take that with a grain of salt, because I haven't done enough research yet to be an authority on Grabovski. But I will. Oh, I sure will. 4 or 5 weeks into the season, I'll know my Grabovski. Yeah, I will. It was a physical game. I enjoyed that game. When you get Nicky Backstrom throwing checks, you got physical. Yeah, you're physical. Carrick, again, mentioned him early. He was busy. I don't know his contract status right now. Somebody needs to let me know. Go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TruthOnTapShow. Easy way to remember it is TOTS. Truth on Tap Show. Tell me what's going on with Carrick's status. Orlov, I know you guys are fans. I'm just not seeing how he's such a miracle worker. He's okay. I'd say he's slightly above average as a player. But he's not knocking my socks off. I'm constantly hearing announcers saying, Coach is very pleased with the play of Orlov, and fans saying, oh man, Orlov is great. It's not showing up in the numbers. I'm not seeing it on the ice. It's occasional. I think he's a fairly hard worker. I won't fault him at all for being a slacker. I think he throws some pretty good checks once he lines them up right. He likes to throw the old-fashioned hip checks, and when he connects, boy, does he connect. He'll put one in the back of the net once in a while. He'll set somebody up once in a while. Overall, I'm seeing him as just a slightly above-average player. Tell me where I'm wrong. Why is Orlov so great? Prove it to me, because I'm not seeing it, and I'm not just going off what other people say. I'm watching him. So you need to prove to me why he's so great. Let's go ahead and call it for that game. Talking about the Blackhawks, I don't have a lot to say about that game because all I saw was the highlights. Grabowski's goal was amazing, that breakaway. He took it. Holtby did fine. Don't blame Holtby. If you can stop 9 out of 10, you're giving us a chance, and that's all we can ask of a goaltender. So he did fine. There was one that I was surprised he let in. I believe it was a 2-on-1, and he wasn't cheating per se, like Nuvi likes to cheat. He wasn't cheating, and I think I've even seen Grubauer cheat. But he stayed in the center, so you've got a 2-on-1. A goalie's supposed to play the puck, right? You understand that? Even though he knows the puck may get passed to the other guy, which would leave an opening, you got to assume, and that's the rule, that's the unwritten rule in hockey, the goalie plays the puck, the defender, that single defender, must play the other man and be responsible for him. That way you don't have to communicate. You know automatically, okay, I got the puck, I'm the goalie, this defender back here is going to take the other man. Instead of going to the left side of the net to block that off, Holtby stayed in the middle. So even though he didn't move to a cheating position, he was kind of in a cheating position. And cheating meaning he wants to be able to slide over in case the guy gets the pass and tries to tap in on his right side. Should have been square to the shooter, should have had his shoulder up against the side of the net. He didn't, and it went over the top of his left shoulder. He left too much space on that side. The guy kept it, he didn't pass. Mike Green, still not impressing me. Turned over the puck deep in the zone, giving another guy a chance right on Holtby, and he's lucky Holtby was on right there. He's very lucky. Mike Green getting a little sloppy these days, not impressing me. I need to see the old Mike Green back. You don't have to be game over Green, okay? I don't expect you to score every game, but what I need you to do is throw some checks. What I need you to do is play with energy every shift, and what I need you to do is stop being clumsy with the puck, because that's happening way too often. It's skipping over your stick, you pass and it gets intercepted, people poke check you and get it away from you. Get to some puck control drills or something. I don't know what's going on with you, but we need the old you back. We really do. Mike Green, sloppy. He's a risk to us right now because we know he has great skill and we leave him in for that, but he's not showing it enough. So he's a risk to us because he's always going to have a spot on the ice, and we need him to play like the old Mike Green. Mike Green, come back, brother. Just find what it was that you lost and put it back where it was. That's all I can say about that. We played a good game tonight. I believe that from the bottom of my heart against Chicago. They beat us fair and square. And we're getting ready. It won't be long till we roll right into the regular season. I believe our season opener is against Chicago. Could be wrong about that. Let me pull up the schedule very quickly. This is regular season schedule. If I'm not mistaken, I think we're done with preseason, but I may be wrong about that. You can check me on that. Well, it's 9/29, and our opening game is Tuesday, October 1st, so I think I'm right about that. Yeah, we will be playing the Blackhawks in the season opener. We're playing in Chicago. That's going to be at 8 o'clock p.m. That's Tuesday, October 1st. You can catch it on NBC CSN or NBCSN. I don't know what the fuck that is. You can usually catch these games on the internet if you can't get them on any other channel. You just have to be resourceful in looking. Just to give you an idea of what's coming up for the Capitals, it's going to be visiting. Calgary's coming. Then Capitals at Dallas. Then visiting is Hurricanes, Avalanche, Oilers, Rangers, and Blue Jackets for the next 5 games. So we got 5 home games in a row. And then we're hitting the road for another 5. And that's going to be versus Jets, Oilers, Flames, Nucks, and Flyers. Looking good. Looking like it's going to be a good season. I think we're going to do well. I can only hope everybody... Capitals signed Connor Carrick. Okay. So there we go. That's in a news item. Not bad. Not bad news at all. Yeah, okay. And as you know, the Capitals are going to host that 2015 Bridgestone NHL Winter Classic in Washington, which is very cool. Capitals are getting on the board now. We're making a name for ourselves. It's sad that it took OV to do that for us. It really is. I don't know why the refs and a lot of fans tend to hate the Capitals. I mean, you have to hate the team with the best player if you root for another team. I understand that. So they hate OV. They have to hate OV. It doesn't matter what kind of person he is. He's the best player, so they're going to hate him. But not sure why they hate the team. I mean, it seems like the officials, where you would have a 50-50 call, are about 60-40 against the Caps, too. I'm starting to think that maybe some people associate Washington Capitals with Washington, the government. I don't know. It could be a very subconscious, subliminal thing. It may sound silly, but what if it's partly true? What if when people hear Washington Capitals and they're not, Capitals fans, they think, because they get that feeling they get when they hear about Congress, Yeah, it could be happening as another little nail in our coffin of public likability. It could be happening. It could be happening. But I think most of it is just OV. I mean, because he's that good, and everybody wants to hate on a great player. If he wasn't on the team would still be good, but we wouldn't be as hated, That's just the way it works. So listen up. I need you guys to start calling in and start leaving comments and keep this show rolling. I know you've got stuff to say. We've been on for about an hour and 10 minutes. You must know what you've been listening to, which is this.
You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kierstead.
Yeah, well, you've been listening to Caps on Tap, and I hope you listen to Caps on Tap again. I will try, no guarantees, to do a show after every game this year. The next one is Tuesday at 8 o'clock, so that would put me on about 11 o'clock. No promises there. At a minimum, I'll probably do every other game, do a show, and then I would, of course, be talking about 2 games. But need your input, need your interaction. I want you in my chat. I want you calling in, 910-NO-LYING. That's 910-665-9464. Call into the show. Let's talk about the Washington Capitals. Let's talk about the NHL. And make a good show out of it. It's from a fan's perspective. No experts here, just talking about our Caps, talking about what we like and what we don't like. And I will occasionally teach you some little tidbits that I learned, that I take the time to go dig up and learn. I'm not saying I'm an expert, but I go find stuff. And I'll teach you some little tidbits that'll make you more versatile in hockey conversations. Make you just edge up on the average fan. All right? I want to thank you for listening to Caps on Tap. This is your host, Kevin Kierstead, and